Pranama, Acharya ji. Can you please share more about self-cultivation?
After 9 years of spiritual journey, intensive meditation, Guruji calls me from Nepal. I was living in Shankarite monastery in Banaras. Time for you to come home, settle down, and I'm very confused. But Guruji, I have been meditating for 4 hours to 8 hours every day. I have just reached the state of self only. I have finally felt this pure consciousness, and I have barely begun to be in this thoughtless, constructionless state of nirvikalpa. And why do you give me the command of coming down to the world? And Guruji said, to start your spiritual journey. And so it goes. I got settled, for which I needed a job, I needed a house to stay, everything. I needed everything, and I had to make it happen. And then after 5 years of torture, Guruji says, you have to take some social responsibility. Take some social responsibility or don't show your face. I had to go and work in different unions. He says, is there any particular forum that I should engage in? He says, it doesn't matter. Just any forum that has more than 1,000 people to talk with. And I became actively engaged in teachers' union and human rights forums. And I could see that I was losing bits and pieces of myself. The hard-earned spiritual progress, the hard-earned samadhi state was slipping away from my grips. I was lamenting, Guruji, is this the right path for me? And one day after the other, I kept experiencing the heat as if a furnace of the relational world, of the society, of the distractions, and of all these unfulfilled desires that people have. And I could be not any less contaminated, and I would be watchful, and some thoughts would slip into me, stick to me like some dust. And then some insights started dawning to me. I reflected on these insights for 2 decades. And finally came to the agreement and started understanding some of the teachings that Guruji had imparted to me. The first was the self of the pre-reflective state, a biological self, myself identified with my body. Every living being is given with this sense of the self. And the whole meditation of going to thoughtless state, pre-reflective state of consciousness was for me to deconstruct these biological parameters and to discover the pristine foundation. But that was not the goal. That was just a step to bring that luminosity to the relational self. And even purely biological beings are relational. They reproduce, they talk to each other, but then they have no consciousness, reflectivity of the ongoing subjectivity. They do not have a reflection of the flow of intersubjective space. A reflective self, on the other hand, is cultivated in this binary process, in this dialogical process, through intersubjectivity with partners, with friends. And then a societal self was like the collective self, of which I was just a piece of the puzzle.
For more free teachings from Acharya Sthaneshwar, visit www.vimarshafoundation.org. And if you learned something from this post, share it with a friend.